Well, good morning everybody. It's another really bright sunny day. There's a few clouds around today, but it's very muggy, it's very warm. This is day 2 of the Trent 3-day festival. After yesterday's huge disappointment, it just kind of puts me out of contention for the festival for this year, unfortunately. But you know, I mean, I had a cracking day's fishing yesterday. If you didn't see that live match film from day 1, then it is right here on this channel for you to watch. But I caught loads of fish, I had a fantastic day's fishing. However, the bombshell at the end just kind of put me out of the festival. So obviously it's up to me whether I continued fishing the competition, and you know, even though I'm out of it, I'm going to continue. So it's day 2 today. I've drawn a very different section. This behind me is what's referred to and what is known as Sheldon's. Now, I've drawn a very well-known peg here. It did dominate kind of earlier on in the season. However, on recent form it hasn't produced, and even yesterday it didn't produce. It's pretty much a barbel peg. Some of the pegs here are barbel pegs. This is known for barbel, but they haven't been catching them. Yesterday, I don't know what was on it yesterday, but I think the lad who fished it yesterday fished for barbel all day and he never got one. So I've had a bit of a dilemma about what I'm actually going to do. I'm out of the festival, so do I want to come here and just fish for an outright match win, or do I still want to fish for days fishing, try and fish for the section, get some bites? You know, so while I've been setting up, obviously I've been thinking about what I'm going to do. This is a lovely big bend in the river, as you can see. It comes round down here under, pretty much into this bank, down along here. This is peg 15, and then it runs down there. The next angler is peg 17, and then the other side of that fence down there is peg 1 at East Stoke. Now that is an inform peg, but that is in another section, so you know, we're not competing against that peg for section points. I'm going to take you out to the peg. I made my mind up what I'm going to do. You know, I've got plenty to think about on this peg, so let me take you down to the peg. Somebody's cut out a couple of nice steps there, which is very handy. And there we go. The water's very clear, as you can see, again, just like the river has been for the last few weeks. That's looking upstream. They are the low numbers in this section. I'm sat out in the water, as you can see, and then that's going downstream. Loads of fry in the edge, and it was like that yesterday, but I'm out in the water. Just look how clear it is. The reason why I've come out so far, I'll explain to you in a minute. I'm obviously on the platform, as you can see, nice and comfortable. The reason why I've come out here, which is knee height, as you can see, which isn't a lot on my knees, on my legs. As you can see, it actually just shallow up just there. So obviously I wanted to give myself a chance of getting any fish up and over that, and that is why I've sat out here rather than sitting back on the bank. So I'm nice and comfortable. 2 nets in. That's my main keep net. That is for barbel up to a certain size. However, if we get any big barbel, then they will be weighed and returned, and make sure that they are fit and healthy when returned. 3 rods set up. Okay, so I've got usual side tray set up, as you can see. Look at that, what I've just found in the margin. I don't think I'll be fishing with that, but wow, look at that. That's a proper big barbel river feeder, that one. So the approach is basically, rather than just go all out for barbel, if there had been some caught here yesterday or the last few matches, I would be quite confident and happy just fishing for barbel and fish for a match win. However, it's not in form. Someone fished here yesterday and there weren't any caught, and so rather than just waste a day, or feeling like I'm wasting a day sitting it out, I'm going to do a bit of both. So I'm going to fish for bites to start with, fish for silverfish, for skimmers, for dace, for roach, perch, anything. I'm going to do that out there just over halfway. I found a nice, it seems clear, at 24 meters it actually works out at. Cast a bomb out, had a feel around with the bomb, it feels alright, and I've gone to the sticks and it actually works out at 24 meters, so that's why it's that range. I've got 2 rods set up for that. I've got 2 of the Horizon Pro distances, 90 gram set up. Alright, so I've got 2 of those set up to fish on that line. One is really kind of a dace set up, so that's with a small hook, lighter line. Just going to fish to kick off with an open-ended feeder. I can switch that to a maggot feeder, and then I've got an identical rod set up to that, clipped up at the same line, but that is where I'm going to fish a slightly heavier hook length. You know, I don't think there's any bream here, but that's going to have a bigger hook on it, a slightly thicker hook length, just for fishing for better stamp fish, if that's going to be the way to go. And then my 3rd rod is a Horizon XD, alright, it's a 100 gram rod, and that is, as you'd expect, that is my proper out and out barbel rod. I'm going to use that for the barbel. 13-foot rod, because that should help me get any fish up and over these rocks if I do get any, and that's coupled with 10-pound main line, and I'm obviously going to fish with heavier line, and my plan is basically to kick off at 24 metres, fish for bites, just see if we can have a day's fishing, see if we can catch a few fish, because if those barbel aren't going to feed, then the silverfish could be really important, even if it's just to try and win the section. But then I'm going to start loose feeding hemp. I've got some hemp and corn there, as you can see, and I'm just going to be loose feeding that via catapult. It's about 12 metres out, straight in front of me, and then on the big barbel rod, if you want to call it that, I'm just going to have a bomb on there with a long hook length, and I can search all downstream on line with all that hemp that's going in. So that's my plan basically. So I'm going to fish for bites to start with, and then obviously I can just build up or try and put a better bait down for the barbel and just chuck on that when I feel it's time to try it. Good luck, lads. Just going to start building up this hemp line. I'm going to put a few pouches in to start off with, just to put a bed down. And obviously I can just keep putting a pouch on this whilst I'm fishing the feeder. I'm just going to put the odd grain of corn in. Just keep trickling it in, not too many. And let's see if there's any small fish on this feeder line. And that was snagged up first chuck. That's not a good sign, is it? As soon as that hit the bottom, then it was rattling. It's the first fish of the day. Not exactly the stamp that we're after, but one or two lads above me, you can see they've started on the whips, so they're obviously starting for small fish. There's a bite as soon as it hit bottom then, so there's some fish there now. Just got to turn them bites into fish now. I'm going to get this rig right. Not a great stamp, but getting a few bites now. People around me are just fishing whips, and that's all what's been caught, just a few little small fish. That was a much better bite, that. Right, what we got here? This is a much better fish. Thought I was going to have to take the clip off then. This is only my light gear, this. It's pretty much a dace rig. Size 16 hook, or 13. This is going to be a little barbel, I think, this one. That's my guess. It's got to be a barbel, this one. There he is, yep, little barbel. Trying to get under my net. That's a little bonus. He's still got loads of energy. Hooking barbel on this gear, it's that's the size that you want them to be. It gives you a chance of landing them. think this is another little barbel. I had to take my clip off that time. Yeah, it is another little barbel. Bit of stamp roach, that one. And it looks like that's working just as well. It might give me a better chance of landing any bonus fish as well, or any more of those little barbel. Well, we are an hour and a half in and everything's pretty much the same. I haven't had any bonus fish, no more little barbel. I'm just picking off odd fish. Keep having odd spell where you get 2 or 3 casts and where you miss bites. Anglers around me just catching really tiny fish on the whip. So I'm obviously still doing the same thing. I'm only literally leaving it in less than a minute, to be fair. Sometimes I found that if I leave it more than say 2 minutes, it either gets snagged up or the bait has already been smashed. So I'm literally only been leaving it in 40 seconds, 45 seconds sort of time. Obviously when you're catching small fish quickly, that's not an issue because most of your bites are coming in as soon as the feeder hits the bottom. So I'm still doing what I'm doing, just ticking over. There aren't any odd bonus fish coming, you know, no decent perch or roach or anything. On my left, I think he's having trouble with pike now on the whip, I think. And the only other thing I've really done is I've scaled down the size of the feeder because I'm casting so frequently. I've scaled down from like a 4-hole to a 3-hole size feeder. Just because obviously it's amazing how much ground bait and how much bait you can get through with a bigger feeder when you're casting as frequently as this. This is another little barbel. Hey, it is. A little baby one. How about that? Well, we're just over 2 hours in. I've just about run out of ground bait, so I've just gone back for some more ground bait. I've run out of worms as well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop some more worms. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to put the barbel rig out on that barbel line, obviously with the drag set, to chop some worms. And to be honest, it's looking like those small fish might be, there's enough of them I think to what could potentially win the section, or this mini section. So I'm going to have a look on that barbel line, chop some more worms, I've got some more ground bait, and then go back on the fine dace rig and just see if I can continue catching fish on that 24 metre line. There we go, 3 pieces of corn. Well, or a nice bonus. So I'll go with the same again. That was literally only in about 2 minutes. I'll Go back to chopping my worms now. Well, unbelievably, I didn't know at the time, but whilst I was playing that, the lad at the next peg on 17 got one. I'm getting an odd little indication on this. I'm still on it now. I've chopped my worms. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen now. I don't know whether to stay on this and just fish for barbel now, or whether that might be it now. I might not get any more signs. So I'm just going to see what happens over the next 20 minutes or so. See if I get any more, any signs of any. But the lad on my right has just hooked another one, and it's actually broke his rod and he's lost it. So it might be showing that there's one or two about to start feeding, maybe, I don't know. But I'm just going to give this another 20 minutes or so, see what happens. If it's dead or I don't get any signs, I'll see what happens around me. If there aren't any more caught, I'll just keep that feed going in, come off it, rest it, and then go back onto that 24 metre line and just try and catch some small fish, rest this line again, because that fish I've just had was actually first cast on that line. So it might need resting, I don't know, but the beauty of it is I can keep feeding it because I'm feeding it with a catapult, so I can keep building that line up whilst I actually rest it. Well, I didn't get any more signs on that barbel line, so I've come off it. Rather than just sit it out, I've gone back onto my 24 metre line. But when I went on it, I actually went on it with my slightly more on the size 14, thicker line, and I never had a sign, literally, for about 15 casts. Not even from a tiny fish, not a sign. And I was just about to come off it and go back on the barbel line, and I thought, before I do that, just out of curiosity more than anything, just switch back to my really light dace rig, and I got 5 fish in 5 casts, and I'm just catching fish steady. They're not very big. The average stamp is about an ounce to 2 ounce, but I'm putting a few extra fish in the net just to rest that barbel line. What I'll do is I'll see how this progresses. I mean, I wouldn't be against, I don't think anybody would blame me for spending at least the last hour on that barbel line, because I've got one. But I'm just going to see what I can get from this, and then when we get into that last hour, I'll make a decision. But I'm definitely going to be going back on that barbel line. I'm still feeding it. So I keep picking up fish on this. They're only an ounce to 2 ounce. The section's fishing, there are only these little fish being caught, apart from that barbel on my right. So I'm going to keep going on this until we hit that final hour, and then I'll make a decision then based on what's happened. But to be quite honest, I think most people now would sit out for another barbel, but I am going to go back on it, but I want to rest it for as long as I can. Well, that is it. It was a very uneventful last hour. I didn't get any more barbel, unfortunately. I've just got, you know, a net of mixed fish. Obviously, I've got those 3 little barbel, then I've got that slightly bigger barbel, and then, which I got on the proper barbel gear, and then I've got a load of silverfish. I think 2 pegs up to my left, I think he's got about 15 pound by the sounds of it. He's got a small barbel as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the weights. Other than that, I don't really know what's being caught up to my left. I think there's lots of small silverfish being caught, but I don't know about any nets of barbel or anything like that. The lad on my right, he actually went and I think he lost 2 more, but I think they may have been on his float gear. But that's really where they've hooked the fish. It's just been on that, where you can loose feed, that 12-15 metre line, basically in the flow. So it's nice to get a proper barbel on the gear. I've had quite a few fish again, so that's good, and I got that rig working well as well on those days. I was hardly missing any bites, which is always good when you're fishing like that. So I'm gonna get some gear packed away. The scales are on the way down. Dad's volunteered to weigh in with one of the other lads, so I got a chance to pack away and everything. So I'm gonna get my gear packed away, and it'll be interesting to see what they weigh. Well, surprisingly, that's done a bit better in the section than what I thought. I weighed I've weighed 13 pound. That includes the barbel. That barbel actually, I thought it was heavier than what it was. It only weighed 4.8 pounds, that biggest barbel that I had. Then I had the 3 other barbel. But obviously those days have made a huge difference. So I've ended up actually second in section in the whole 10 peg section, which, considering it covers from that end peg there right the way up there, I'm really pleased at that, to be fair, because a lot of the weights have really been coming on the float. You know, a lot of anglers are fishing with the whips, a lot of fishing with poles. On low, clear rivers like this is when the float can dominate over the feeder. But obviously, once again, it shows that there's certain ways of fishing the feeder that can give you a chance of competing, even with those small fish, particularly dace and roach. So, yeah, be interesting to see what tomorrow brings. Obviously that puts me on 2 points. Obviously yesterday's score was a bit of a bombshell, but you know, I'm not really fishing to compete in the festival now anyway after yesterday's results. So, but yeah, second in section. I'm really pleased with that, to be fair. And I think 16 pounds won the section, and I'm not sure, I think I could have got that. I think I could have got an extra £3 of those small fish particularly, or one more barbel. But I haven't spent too much time going for barbel, so I can't really blame that. So yeah, I'm pleased with second in section with 13 pound. That's good. So I want to get some gear packed away. I don't think I've got any gear to do tonight. I haven't lost many hook lengths and things, so that just sets us up then now ready for tomorrow morning when we're back here for day 3 of this festival. So hope you've enjoyed me sharing this with you. I've enjoyed putting it together. I've enjoyed catching some fish as well. So please give this one a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you for day 3.